The photograph sat on my desk, a faded relic from a forgotten war. It was a small, square piece of history, its edges frayed and its colors muted by time. The image it held was a window into a world long past, a world of sun-baked soldiers and endless desert sands. Dust devils danced across its surface, blurring the image of sun-baked soldiers grinning at the camera. The desert wind seemed to whisper secrets as it swirled around the photograph, secrets of battles fought and lives forever changed. It was the kind of picture you'd find in a forgotten footlocker, a snapshot of life before the world tilted on its axis. A moment frozen in time, capturing the camaraderie and resilience of those who served in harsh, unforgiving conditions. But there was something else in the photo, something that sent shivers down my spine every time I looked at it. A detail so subtle, yet so profoundly unsettling that it seemed to reach out from the past and grip my very soul. Embedded in the side of a nondescript hill was a door. It was not just any door, but one that seemed to defy logic and reason. Its presence in the photograph was an enigma, a puzzle piece that didn't quite fit. Not a doorway, mind you, but a solid, imposing door, crafted from a material that seemed to absorb the desert light. It stood out starkly against the barren landscape, a dark sentinel in a sea of sand. It was completely out of place, a jarring anomaly in the otherwise unremarkable landscape. The more I stared at it, the more questions it raised. Who built it? Why was it there, and what lay behind it? The soldiers in the photo seemed oblivious to its presence, their eyes fixed on the camera lens, their smiles wide and carefree. They were young, full of life and hope, unaware of the mysteries that surrounded them. I had found the photo tucked away in a box of my grandfather's belongings after he passed away. It was a treasure trove of memories, each item telling a story of a life well lived and battles bravely fought. He'd served in the Iraq War, a conflict that now felt as distant and unreal as the Roman conquest of Gaul. The stories he told were filled with the grit and grime of war, but also with moments of unexpected beauty and camaraderie. On the back of the photo, scrawled in his familiar looping handwriting, were the words Ali Al-Salem Air Base 2004. It was a simple note, yet it added a layer of context to the mystery. Funny thing about that doorway gum. It seemed to hold a significance that I couldn't quite grasp. Was it a metaphor, a literal gateway? The possibilities were endless, each more intriguing than the last. The sentence trailed off unfinished, leaving me with 1,000 unanswered questions. What door? Why was it there? And what did my grandfather mean by funny? The more I pondered, the deeper the mystery became. And why did my grandfather find it so funny? Was it a joke only he understood, or was there a deeper meaning? The photograph, with its enigmatic door and smiling soldiers, had become a puzzle I was determined to solve. The internet was a black hole of information when it came to the Iraq War. It was as if the digital world had conspired to keep the truth hidden, shrouding the events in layers of secrecy and confusion. Years of conflict had left the region scarred and fragmented, its history buried beneath layers of propaganda and misinformation. The sands of time had swallowed the stories of countless lives, leaving behind only whispers of what once was. I spent weeks trawling through online archives, military databases, and obscure forums, searching for any mention of a mysterious door in the Iraqi desert. Each click of the mouse felt like a step deeper into a labyrinth of half-truths and forgotten memories. My efforts were met with dead ends and digital shrugs. The more I searched, the more elusive the truth became, slipping through my fingers like grains of sand. The official records were silent, the veterans' forums were filled with drunken ramblings and tall tales, and the few news articles I could find focused on the political machinations and human cost of the war, not on strange doors appearing in hillsides. It was as if the door was a ghost, haunting the memories of those who had seen it, but leaving no trace in the annals of history. Just when I was about to give up hope, I stumbled upon a thread buried deep within a forum dedicated to unexplained phenomena. It was a digital oasis in the desert of my search, a glimmer of hope in the vast expanse of uncertainty. The thread was titled The Whispering Door of Iraq and was filled with eyewitness accounts from soldiers who claimed to have seen the door themselves. Their words were like echoes from the past, each account adding a piece to the puzzle. Some described it as being made of obsidian, others of polished granite. The descriptions varied, but the sense of awe and fear was a common thread that ran through each story. Some said it emitted a low hum, others claimed it was guarded by strange creatures. These tales were fantastical, almost mythical, yet there was a sincerity in the voices of those who recounted them. Their stories were fragmented, contradictory, and often bordered on the delusional. Yet, amidst the chaos, there was a consistency that couldn't be ignored. It was as if they were all trying to describe the same enigma, each from their own fractured perspective. But there was a consistency to their descriptions, a kernel of truth that resonated with the unease I felt every time I looked at my grandfather's photo. His eyes seemed to hold a secret, a silent testimony to the existence of the door. The door was real. It was not just a figment of imagination or a product of war-weary minds. It stood there, a silent sentinel in the desert waiting to be discovered. And it was more than just a door. It was a portal, a gateway to something beyond our understanding. It beckoned with a promise of secrets untold and mysteries unsolved. It was a gateway to something unknown, something ancient and powerful, something that whispered to the darkest recesses of the human soul. The door was a bridge between worlds, a link to a past that refused to be forgotten and a future that was yet to be written. Decades passed. The world moved on as it always does, leaving behind the echoes of past events and the shadows of forgotten places. The Iraq War faded into a distant memory, a footnote in the ever-expanding annals of human conflict. The battles, the losses, the victories, all became part of a history lesson, something to be studied but not felt. But the photo on my desk remained, a constant reminder of the mystery that haunted my thoughts. It was a snapshot of a time and place that seemed almost otherworldly, a relic from a past that refused to be forgotten. By now I was an old man myself, my hair as white as the desert sands. The years had etched their marks on my face, but my mind remained sharp, ever fixated on that one unsolved enigma. The world had changed around me, reshaped by technological advancements that would have seemed like science fiction to my grandfather's generation. Skyscrapers touched the clouds, and the hum of drones filled the air. We lived in a world of augmented reality, self-driving cars and personalized medicine. The future had arrived, bringing with it conveniences and wonders that were once the stuff of dreams. Yet, for all our progress, the door in the photo remained an enigma, a tangible representation of the vast unknown that still existed in the universe. It was a reminder that some mysteries are immune to the passage of time and the march of progress. Then one day the news came, as sudden and unexpected as a bolt from the blue. It was a headline that captured the world's attention, a story that seemed too fantastical to be true. The hill, the one from the photo, the one that had housed the mysterious door for all these years, had vanished. It was as if the earth had swallowed it whole, leaving no trace behind, not collapsed, not eroded, but simply vanished as if it had never existed at all. The landscape was eerily flat, devoid of the hill that had once stood as a silent sentinel. The media went into a frenzy, speculating about sinkholes, secret government projects, and even alien intervention. Theories abounded, each more outlandish than the last. Experts were trotted out, their pronouncements filled with scientific jargon and cautious disclaimers. They spoke of geological anomalies and rare natural phenomena, but their words offered little comfort. But no one could explain how an entire hill could simply disappear overnight. The locals were baffled, their lives disrupted by the sudden absence of a landmark that had always been there. No one, that is, except me. I had spent years studying that photo, pondering its secrets, and I knew that the answer lay beyond the realm of conventional understanding. I knew exactly what had happened. The door was open. It was a portal to another dimension, a gateway to the unknown. And now it had taken the hill with it, leaving behind only questions and the promise of more mysteries to come. Satellite images flooded the internet, each one providing a clearer picture of the impossible. The hill was gone, replaced by a gaping maw in the earth, and at the bottom of that maw, untouched by the sands that swirled around it, stood the door. It was open now, its dark surface seeming to draw in the very light itself. I wasn't the only one who remembered the old stories, the whispers from a forgotten war. The internet, that vast echo chamber of human consciousness, erupted with speculation and fear. The whispering door of Iraq was back, and this time it was open for business. Governments scrambled to react, deploying troops and establishing perimeters around the anomaly. Scientists from around the world converged on the site, their faces pale with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. This wasn't just a scientific discovery, it was a paradigm shift, a tear in the fabric of reality itself. I watched the news reports, my heart pounding in my chest. After all these years, the mystery that had haunted my grandfather and subsequently my life was about to be revealed. The world held its breath, poised on the precipice of the unknown. What lay beyond that door? A new world, a new dimension, or something far more terrifying?